Fantasia is the 58th best film of all time, ranked by the American Film Institute, and ever since its release in 1940, Disney has received many calls, thousands of calls from upset parents about their children crying because of this movie. Fantasia shows red demon nipples, scary scenes from hell, and characters with racist stereotypes that later, upon a re-release in the 60s, were completely removed from the movie. Japan even went so far as to completely ban the movie, not letting their populace watch it, but not because they thought it was unsuitable for children. More on that later. Is Fantasia worth watching on movie night? Let's get into it. Fantasia is an animated musical anthology film. Say that 5 times fast. Produced by Walt Disney. It's unique in its format, blending animation with classical music into 8 segments ranging from the abstract to the narrative. Fantasia's runtime is 2 hours and 5 minutes long, the longest Disney animated film, and it took thousands of technicians and artists to complete. It is the longest Disney animated film, but it didn't start out that way. It originally was just a single segment. This single segment was designed to thrust Mickey Mouse back into the popularity of the public, as he had seen a decline in that popularity in recent years. As they were nearing the end of production for this single segment, it became clear that it was not going to break even. They had spent too much money producing it. So Walt Disney decided to add 7 more segments and create a feature-length film to recoup some of their expenditure. As the short grew in size, so did Walt Disney's ambition for the project. With the single segment, he wanted to rejuvenate Mickey Mouse in the eyes of the public and increase his popularity. With the full-length film, he wanted to elevate the medium of animation to be seen and viewed by the general public as up there with the classics, art, music, etc. He wanted animation to be recognized as more than just a kitschy form of entertainment, but an art form worthy to be considered along these great works of art and literature, more than just a way to enjoy humorous cartoons. To achieve this, he paired each animation segment with a great piece of classical music, creating a new genre of entertainment called music visualization. Fantasia was designed to push the boundaries of what animation could achieve, showcase the potential of synchronized sound and visuals, establish Disney as a pioneer in blending art, music, and storytelling, and pave the way for commercial success for future films. We all know how successful Disney has become, unless you're living under a rock in Timbuktu. But Fantasia was considered a financial flop at the post office. It was released in the middle of World War II, which made it not available in Europe, which really significantly decreased the film's earnings. Despite this, Fantasia had several successful re-releases throughout the years, and that culminates in it becoming the 23rd highest grossing film of all time. So what makes the 58th best film of all time and the 23rd highest grossing film of all time worth a watch? Let's briefly go through each segment to find out. The first opening segment is the Toccata and Fugue in D minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. The opening segment is an abstract interpretation of Bach's music, featuring a blend of live-action footage of the orchestra and animated visuals. The segment transitions from the orchestra playing to colorful flowing shapes and patterns, symbolizing the power and grandeur of the music. While visually striking, the segment is more abstract and less narrative. The segment sets the stage, introducing the viewers to the idea of visualizing music through animation. The second segment is the Nutcracker Suite by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. This segment presents a series of dance sequences featuring nature in the changing seasons. Highlights include dancing mushrooms, who were created with specific movements taken from the Three Stooges, delicate fairies, graceful fish, and a dramatic scene of frost covering the landscape. The snowflakes in the sequence were hand-drawn by the artist from traces of real snowflakes. These animators really went above and beyond. The animation is whimsical and elegant, really capturing the charm and beauty of Tchaikovsky's music. It's visually enchanting that brings the natural world to life with imaginative characterizations. This is the segment where Walt Disney really makes his case that animation can become higher art. And that takes us to the third and most famous segment, the Sorcerer's Apprentice. The most famous segment of Fantasia, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, features Mickey Mouse in one of his most iconic scenes. This segment solidifies Mickey Mouse as Walt Disney's most iconic character. Mickey, as the apprentice, uses his master's hat to bring a broom to life to do his chores, only to have things go disastrously wrong. The inspiration of this segment comes from Goethe's 1797 poem, Der Zauberlehrling. The animation perfectly matches Dukas' dramatic score, creating a humorous yet thrilling narrative. Also, the sorcerer's name in the segment is Yen Sid, which is Disney spelled backward. The fourth segment is The Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky. This segment depicts the creation and evolution of Earth from the formation of the planet to the age of dinosaurs. It's one of the most ambitious segments, using Stravinsky's intense and powerful music to convey the epic scale of nature's forces. The animation is impressive, especially in the scenes showing dinosaurs battling for survival. The animators worked closely with biologists, paleontologists, and astronomers to learn all they could about the appearance of dinosaurs, going so far as to study herds of iguanas and an alligator to get inspiration on how dinosaurs might have moved. Keep in mind, this is the late 1930s, and to this point, no one had seen a realistic depiction of dinosaurs moving on film. This scene astounded audiences who were enthralled to see dinosaurs in realistic movement on screen. The next segment is Meet the Soundtrack. In this segment, the narrator, Deems Taylor, introduces the soundtrack as a character. Initially, the soundtrack is simply a simple vertical line representing the visual form of sound waves. As different musical instruments are played, the soundtrack line responds by changing shape and movement, visually depicting the characteristics of the sound produced by each instrument. For instance, harp's notes might create soft, wavy patterns, while a trumpet produces more jagged, sharp lines. This piece is more abstract and educational, but it fits in well with the overall theme of Fantasia. The sixth segment is the Pastoral Symphony by Ludwig van Beethoven. This is set in a mythological world inspired by ancient Greece. The segment portrays the antics of centaurs, fauns, and other mythological creatures. The animation is colorful and lighthearted with a focus on romance, celebration, and humor. Beethoven's symphony adds a majestic and uplifting tone to the visuals. However, this segment contains Fantasia's most controversial elements. Firstly, there is nudity. The centaurettes, female centaurs, the centaurettes were originally bare-breasted, but the Hayes office, who enforced the codes and guidelines of self-censorship, insisted on there being more modesty, so they added garlands to cover their breasts. More controversial are the characters of Sunflower and Nautica, and some unnamed cherubs and zebras, not to mention the decidedly Asian mushrooms from an earlier segment. These characters are portrayed with negative racial stereotypes and were removed from the film in the 1960s with Walt Disney's approval. Furthering the controversy is Disney's decision to add back select characters under an advisory warning, while still leaving out Sunflower and Nautica. There are folks upset that these characters were included to begin with, and others who are still upset that Disney removed them. It's really a lose-lose situation for Disney. If you have Disney Plus and you watch Fantasia, you will see the mushrooms and the zebras, but you will not see Sunflower and Nautica. Moving on to the seventh segment, Dance of the Hours by Amilcare Ponchielli. This is probably my favorite segment. It's the most fun. It's a comic ballet performed by various animals. Ostriches, hippos, elephants, and alligators, oh my. Imagine a hippopotamus dancing a ballet. Well, you don't have to. You can simply watch Fantasia. This segment is a delightful parody of classical ballet, with each animal bringing a unique personality to the dance. Ponchielli's music, known for its lively and rhythmic qualities, enhances the humor and absurdity of the situation. The fast music and bright colors make me half expect Richard Simmons to pop out and help the hippos lose weight. This segment is one of the most entertaining, lighthearted, appealing to viewers of all ages. The animators visited the zoo in Los Angeles to further study animals' movements to help them depict a more realistic animation. They also assigned specific ballerinas and dancers to certain animals. For example, everyone's favorite dancer, Irina Baronova, was filmed dancing for the animators to draw the lead ostrich named Mademoiselle Upanova. And then everyone's second and third favorite ballerinas, Marge Champion and Tatiana Ryabushinsky, inspired Hyacinth's hippo movements, while the world-famous actress Hattie Noel was studied by the animators to better draw a larger bulk in movement for the hippos. Next we go to segment 8, the final segment, and the one that drew all the unwanted phone calls from upset parents to Disney for decades. This segment is Night on Bald Mountain by Modest Mussorgsky and Ave Maria by Franz Schubert. This is one of the most visually and thematically intense parts of the film, showcasing the power of animation to evoke fear and awe. This segment depicts the terrifying Chernobog, a demon who summons spirits and monsters in a wild and nightmarish spectacle. This is the scene that includes the red demon nipples. To be more accurate, they aren't demons, they're harpies, and there's 2 of them. So there are 4 harpy nipples, to be exact. Anyway, the animation is dark and intense and haunting, perfectly matching Mussorgsky's dramatic score. The segment then transitions to Ave Maria, where the tone shifts to one of peace and serenity, with a procession of pilgrims holding candles as dawn breaks. This transition to Ave Maria is necessary. It provides a sense of resolution and peace, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil. This segment is crucial for the emotional impact and for its use of animation to convey deep spiritual themes. However, behind the scenes, the filming of this Ave Maria sequence was a disaster. Painted glass was used to show the effect of movement throughout the scene and was over 200 feet long. The filming of this 200 feet worth of glass had to be redone 3 times. The first time, the wrong lens was used, and so more was shown than was supposed to be. At the second time, there was an earthquake, and they just couldn't keep the filming. It was useless. The third time, nothing went wrong, but they were running out of time. The segment was completed and spliced into the final print only a few hours before the first showing. Fantasia was released to wide acclaim, although it did have its detractors from the classical music community. A lot of the ridicule I find to be nitpicky, such as some of the order of the pieces were shuffled, the orchestra's performance wasn't good enough, etc. However, the dance community absolutely loved it. They were enthralled to see ostriches and hippos perfectly performing intricate ballet moves. Overall, audiences loved it. Walt Disney showed animation in a way never before seen to this point. Not only did he pair animation with classical music to create a high art for everyone, but he did so in style, with an exhaustive attention to detail, ensuring that each moment the visuals and audio match each other in perfect rhythm, mood, and tone. Audiences had never seen anything like it. In fact, it was so good that Japan banned the movie, as this was in the middle of World War II, and they didn't want their population becoming disheartened by seeing the Americans produce something so perfect. So is the 58th best film of all time and the 23rd highest grossing film worth a watch? I would say yes, but I fully expect quite a few people to not particularly enjoy it. While I certainly enjoyed certain scenes along with its music, 2 hours of it is a bit much. A big reason for this movie's greatness is its innovation. However, what was wildly innovative 80 years ago was wildly innovative 80 years ago. It might not come across as all that special to someone watching it for the first time today who grew up on modern TV. At the very least, it's worth watching while it's playing in the background while you're cooking dinner or doing household chores. It's probably worth the run through. The last Top 100 film was about a man being brainwashed into assassinating a political figure. The next Top 100 movie that we watch is, well, I'll say it includes Russian roulette, more Russian roulette, and at the end, it adds in some more Russian roulette. If you can't guess what that is, subscribe to find out which movie that is once I release it. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, consider leaving a like. Here are The Simpsons.